Two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are continuing our Lord of the Rings journey with Peter Jackson here for a film that was filmed in 2003, and it is the final installment, at least in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And it is and involves many of the other actors and actresses that we have talked about before in our previous discussions. Viggo Mortensen, Ian McKellen, Elijah Wood,
Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler, even though briefly, but Orlando Bloom, Noel Appleby, Ali Aston, Sean Aston,
Sean Rhys Davies,
John Beck, Sean Bean, Kate Blanchett, Billy Boyd, among many others. Let us see what IMDb says about the film, and then we'll go into our first impressions here. So Gandalf and Aragorn lead the world of men against Sauron's army to draw his gaze from Frodo and Sam as they approach Mount Doom with the One Ring.
Yeah, that was half the movie.
Well, that's pretty much the basic point. But let's go to you, Boris. Was this a first-time watch for you?
Like with the previous two movies, I have seen bits and pieces of it before, but this was the first time I saw it from the beginning to the end. And much to my shame, the very reason why I've never seen it from the beginning to the end before is because these movies are so long, so I just never took the time for it until you guys made me do it. And I must say, this movie is
You're welcome.
this movie is definitely the best one of the three, the most interesting one, the most suspenseful one, and the one that I enjoyed the best. This is the one where at least I had the feeling we finally got some character development, and the one that actually made me care what happens to each and every one of the characters. I did have some question marks left above my head after it, but we will get into that later, I guess. And now and we
No,
are at
Bilbo and Frodo are not. I know Frodo and Sam are not in a relationship. That's fake news.
No, I did realize they were not in a relationship, although I can see why some people came up with such ideas, but yeah, of course, it's wrong when Sam is obviously straight when he got with a woman at the end of the movie. But we did see a great deal of him having some sort of emotions about Frodo, and I do think maybe we should have gotten some explanation on why he was so emotional about Frodo
Best
if he
friends.
didn't. Well, okay, I guess, but at moments it did feel as if if he felt something more than that about him. Don't get me wrong, I know he didn't, but it did kind of look that way at moments.
Just good acting.
Okay. Is that pretty much your first impressions then?
Well, I was going to say now that we are at the end of the franchise, I have to say I do not regret watching these movies. Although I could say the first two movies could possibly be condensed into one, and maybe this one could have been split into two.
Sacrilege.
Sorry.
All right.
Uh, but yeah, sorry. The first two movies, I just felt like character development was missing. In this movie,
Apparently you haven't seen the Hobbit
You don't
trilogy.
need the character development.
uh, actually, I have seen The Hobbit, but I remember when I was watching the first movie, I wasn't completely focused on it, and the other two I saw in theaters, and they were pretty good actually. Although it's been a while, so I don't remember every detail of them anymore. But yeah, I did see them.
Mhm.
I think he meant the anime movie because that actually was closer to the book.
Hmm. Interesting. Aren't the animated movies shorter than these?
Yes,
Yes.
a lot shorter. First of all, there's only one book, therefore only one movie.
Uh,
When they came up with the three books, they decided they want to make three movies because they're, cashing in, and I liked what they added, but they definitely added a lot of stuff that wasn't in The Hobbit.
oh, yeah, like Toriel, who, sorry to all Tolkien fans, but
Yeah,
Tori.
I like the character as well. So, like I said, I like what they added. I mean,
I see.
Alrighty, heading over to you, Ron. Was this a first time watch for you
hells no.
of the extended?
Second time for extended. I noticed something different this time too. That I
Okay.
didn't notice the last time on the extended when he's the um god damn, I can't think of his name. The captain of the Rohan. Um, you know, when he was crying on the battlefield and yelling, and I guess because his sister was passed out, but she's cold and had blood, and so he thought she was dead, because it was like right after he saw his uncle dead, the king, and he sees her, and she's not even supposed to be there in the battle. She's supposed to be safe back at Rohan. So to find out that she's there, presumably dead, he just kind of lost it, and I
Uh,
don't remember that part in the extended the first time. But especially with the battle scenes and everything, so much happens. It's easy to miss something. So that's what's great about watching these movies again. You catch things you missed the first time.
Oh, speaking of this battle, I must say I didn't fully understand how Theoden died. Like he was just thrown off the horse. Nothing more happened to him
The
as far
horse
as
fell on him.
Yeah, the horse fell on him.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
his body was crushed, and even though she stopped the Nazgul from killing him, um, he was already a goner. Um, basically, it just gave her another moment with him, and a moment for him to say, you can say goodbye to me, and it's okay. Um,
oh,
but
uh,
yeah,
I see. I must say uh, I kind of wish he hadn't ended that way. I didn't see what purpose his death served for the rest of the story. Uh,
uh, I guess so. They only have one king now. I don't know. And I suppose Rohan will probably end up getting another one. But maybe death of one king brings birth of another, even though they were different countries. I don't know.
Mm,
Maybe.
yeah, they are in different
Well,
countries.
I was thinking because Eowyn was starting to have a relationship with Theomir, or
Not yet.
well,
Don't get me started on that relationship. That didn't make any sense to me.
Of course he did. The second he saw her, he fell in love. And then she did too. She's
but she,
attracted. She's
uh,
attracted to strong warriors. You
uh,
know.
wait, I'm not talking about Aragorn. I'm talking about her ending
I'm
up with
talking about
Faramir.
Faramir. Faramir is a very strong warrior.
Yeah, but she didn't even have any interaction with him
yes, she did.
She
before
did.
the battle.
Oh,
Uh,
that was but after the battle. She did. Doesn't
yeah,
take it. You see, you don't understand. There's such a thing as love at first sight. That's what it was. Love at first sight. You know.
yeah, but until the battle and during the battle, I had the impression that she and Mary were developing some feelings for each other.
They were friends, and like I
They were
said,
friends,
she's attracted to warriors. He may have a warrior's heart, but he was no warrior.
and
Uh,
he had very much respect for her. She was a lady
Yeah.
whatever, and the whole reason for their interaction was because he was so small, and he was told that he was not wanted in battle because he was that small. You know,
And she was told she wasn't the one in battle because she's a woman. So she felt a kinship to him. And they both felt a kinship to each other because they both wanted to do battle. They were both told they couldn't for different reasons. So, they just went together.
and them two on a horse. Well, he's got a sword, and she's got several weapons. So in a sense, that made them like the ultimate warrior.
uh, yeah, okay, I must say, I like that moment when she was fighting this guy. I forgot his name, the bad guy in
The
the
Witch
armor.
King,
The
the
Witch
Witch
King.
King of Agma.
Yeah, I think that's the one when he said, "No man
No
can
man,
kill me,"
no man can kill me, and I'm
and
no man.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
But that's getting ahead of ourselves. So let's
Uh,
it is.
go into Tammy's first impression of this
oh yes,
film. Was this a first
sorry.
time watch for you?
No, I think this was the second time we watched the extended one too. So
Yeah,
I
because
like.
there were definitely moments that I did not entirely remember. So maybe I haven't seen this like more than once. This last one.
See, it happens, man. It's like, wait, they added this too.
But yeah, I did really enjoy it. Um, like the other two. Um, I like the continuation of the story. I like the different characters were teaming up kind of like with each other and helping each other out. Plus, you still had the three that were the definite, well, four if you want to call um Gandalf, but
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, the three that were the three, like the three musketeers,
Aragon,
the,
Gimli, and Legolas.
of the whole thing, But yeah, I thought it was really good. I like, I've always I in these movies I have liked the different creatures, the different settings, the different you know the different kind of there's different in a way different little plots, because you got this, they're battling here and then they're battling here, but then Frodo's over here and then this, you know what I mean? And Frodo and Sam got their own thing going on. So yeah, it definitely keeps your interest and you get to see all these different situations and everything. So I definitely enjoyed it. I think how do I put it?
it's
I
funny
think
because
this one was a little bit more intense. Kind of
it's like
going on what Boris was saying. There was just a little bit more of an intensity and everything in this one.
more
Yes, yes,
emotion.
yes.
So, but yep, I had fun.
Okay. And like I said, I think this is my second time actually seeing the extended version of the Return of the King in its entirety. I mean, I've seen the theatrical version like over and over,
A
uh,
zillion times.
like a zillion times, and it wasn't until like at least 5 years ago that I got the extended versions on the DVD, and I think we went through it like one more time too. It's just been a while because I ended up getting the extended on Blu-ray not too long ago, and we ended up doing like at least a Lord of the Rings marathon once I did that. I don't think we got around to watching the Hobbit trilogy, the extended, because I picked up the Hobbit
The
trilogy again.
already extended. It doesn't need to be an extended version. I said, I mean, I like extended, but come on, they're already extended. How more do we need to see? There's 2 more movies. How more extended can you get?
But I also think that there was a lot of intensity in this one because they had to bring a lot of like different situations to fruition, you know, to be able to have them all like um, I mean they have to show the different lands and the different peoples and um, some of the main characters that are involved in the world of men. And I enjoy John Noble as an actor. I, I liked his version of the Steward. Um,
Yeah, you wanted to hate him.
yeah, you definitely wanted to hate him. Whereas in, I don't know if any of you have seen the show Fringe. He was
Nope.
kind of a mad scientist type character, and he was kind of a weird oddball there. But he also did some like science fiction like uh,
Uh,
story anthology not too long ago. I think
I'm
it was called
sorry.
Strange Matters or something like that.
Uh, I'm sorry, I had to check something on my phone. Can you tell me which character are we talking about? I got lost
John
for a
Noble,
moment.
the steward in charge of Minas Tirith.
Uh, Faramir's father.
Yeah, Theramir's and Boromir's father. Um,
Idiot.
exactly. But yeah, I think there are a lot more creatures involved in this too, at least for the battles, um, and whatnot. So, and you got orcs on water, so that's at least cool too, you know. Um, but yeah, I enjoy this film just like I enjoy the other two. Like I said, they were on par with what needed to happen for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I don't think they could have done any better for the time period. Um, this was a phenomenal final film, and I think they did. The only thing to me that was missing was I wish they would have been singing Frodo and the Nine Fingers and the Ring of Doom in the
uh,
background.
where is that song from?
The Return of the King animation.
Ah, oh yeah. Speaking of which, there was this one song that Gollum or Smeagol, whatever, was singing when Frodo was attacked by the spider. That melody sounded familiar to me from somewhere. W- Where 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 did it where did that melody exist before?
Not sure. But let us go into um, how this particular film begins. So it begins with, I believe, with Sauron, um, and there is an extended scene in this beginning because we have Merry and
It
Pippin.
starts with Smeagol.
We have Merry and Pippin continuing to smoke.
It starts with Smeagol. It tells the story of how he
That's
got how
right.
he, how he got
Ah,
the
oh
ring
yeah.
and
That's right.
how he killed Deagle and yeah, that's how it started.
Uh, oh, oh yeah.
So
Speaking of which,
Smeagol was at one point in time something similar to a hobbit, and he was out in the meadows one day with his friend. In fact, he calls him my love. You know, um, very much similar to like a Samwise Frodo relationship. You know,
uh,
whereas Frodo calls him my Sam. You know,
I thought when he was saying my love, I thought he was talking to the ring.
no, he was talking to
The,
his.
the ring is precious.
He called
Yeah,
the
that
ring
came
my
later.
precious.
Y-
But
y-
when
mm.
he talked to his friend, he was like, "Show me, my love. What do you have there in your hand?
Ah,
It is my birthday.
I want it.
I
Why
want
should
it."
you have it?
uh,
Well, it's my birthday.
oh yeah, speaking of which, when we were discussing the first movie, Wow said something like that Smeagol was never really a good person, that he was a piece of shit even before he found the ring, but I didn't see why. I think, as far as I saw, it was the
I
ring
personally think it was the ring that made him both do it because you saw the look in their both of their eyes. You know.
Yeah, I think the ring was what corrupted him. Why did Woe say that he was a bad person even before that?
They were both just very corruptible and weak-minded. More so than Frodo was, because Frodo had some strong stamina. You know.
But I mean, even Sam, like when he was holding on to when he thought Frodo was dead, he like for a moment like held back, like he didn't want to give him the ring, but and he did. But it affects you. I think it affects you stronger at certain points when it wants to.
Hmm.
Other times it can lay dormant for a long time. So you know.
Oh,
Yeah, I think so too, and it just affected these two characters more strongly because they were that dim-witted. They both seemed like they were both just as dim-witted as each other. In fact, they quite reminded me of Merry and Pippin when we first met them.
Not to
You
me.
know,
Mary and Pippin are hilarious.
they are hilarious, but um, Pippin is definitely very dim-witted when we first meet him.
Of course he is, but he's still
And
hilarious.
it's that kind of dim-wittedness that reminds me of these two, Smeagol and Deagle. That was the other hobbit-like creature's
I
name.
already said that.
So, but yeah, they fight. Smeagol strangles him for the ring, and then you see um, Smeagol go through his age transformation and also how he lost and forgot his name, over time. But yeah, you get that in the very beginning, and then then it goes to Merry and Pippin while they're still like smoking some of that leaf,
Oh,
and
Old Toby.
I guess that's when Gandalf and rides up with Legolas and the dwarf Gimli and Aragorn.
I
And
don't believe it. We're worried about you too. When you're sitting here eating and smoking. Is that cured?
and they get you get a moment where they confront Sauron, which is the white wizard that everybody in the Two Towers and the Fellowship of the Ring was all like trying to make sure that the Dark Lord had, you know, uh,
you mean Saruman?
Saruman. Yes, Saruman is known as Saruman the White, and when they thought the White Wizard was the White Wizard in the forest, they thought it was Saruman at first, but it was not. So,
Yeah.
but um, basically, Gandalf tells him that he can turn back from from being like under the influence of um, the lidless eye dude, but he is so much like far gone that he refuses, and I believe it's um, the King of Rohan. I forget his name at the moment.
Uh,
But
Theoden.
Theoden. Theoden offers Worm Tongue to that he was a man of Rohan once, that he does not like. He does not need to be continuing to work under him,
Oh
and it's
yeah.
just Saruman
Yeah.
just needles
And Saruman basically said, he's my bitch, and he's not going anywhere. Which, pissed him off to the point that he took a knife and stabbed him.
Actually, I must say that was one of my favorite moments. I just loved how one big bad boss got taken down by some ugly little minion.
and Legolas shoots an arrow into Tongue, which pretty much kills him. But
Yeah,
after he stabbed
that
Saruman fell and like was spiked, and that I guess that spike was part of like this wheel that like wheeled him underneath water, and as he fell, so did that
Black crystal ball.
black ball that evidently told like the future, kind of like a
Didn't tell
crystal
the
ball.
future. It was connected to Saruman.
The lost adamantia or something like that. Um, but as the ball fell, I believe it was Pippin who noticed like something glowing in the water, and he picked it up, and Gandalf was like, "Give it here," because he wanted to make sure that it was in a
Fool of a took.
yeah. That happened later.
Actually, the fool of a took was from the first movie, but he
uh,
was still a fool again.
oh, oh yeah, by the way, there was one thing I never understood about these names. If the guy's name is Pippin, why does Gandalf call him Peregrine Took?
Because that's his actual name. Peregrine. He called Mary Brandybuck and Peregrine Took. Those
Yeah.
are their full names, but Pippin is his like nickname.
Yep.
Ah, Okay.
and what everyone calls him by. So
Oh, and speaking of which, you guys keep saying Worm Tongue. That character was, I think they were calling
no,
him
Worm
Grima or
Tail was in Harry Potter. Worm Tongue, Worm Tongue is that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, but they were calling him Grima or Grima or something like that. I don't remember the word Worm Tongue. When did they call him that?
In Two Towers.
Yeah,
Uh,
that
okay, I
was his.
forgot.
That was his name. But I guess they called him a Grimoire because that's what they referred to as like a male witch.
Uh,
Where'd you
okay.
get that from?
Um, well, I was assuming that because Grimoire is a book, that witches keep for
Uh,
themselves. So I
You don't
assumed that
say.
it was similar to a witch. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
well,
alrighty then.
I was assuming a witch or a shaman
Never
or a
assume.
magician or something like that. Somebody with a sorcerer, pretty much. That's what I assumed Wern Tongue was, like a sorcerer.
Uh,
But
Although, funnily enough, he did kind of remind me of Wormtail from Harry Potter. He is sort of that kind of character.
yeah, he does have that sleaze baldness about him.
Yeah.
But then that's why he was great for being the voice of Chucky.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
But
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brad Dwarf.
but yeah, so you get those two dying, and I think some of that speech that Saruman gave was a part of the extended because I don't remember all of that being said. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but after that, what happens after that? Trying to remember.
Um,
Well, they go wherever they were resting, which I don't remember where they were resting. In Rohan, maybe.
Oh
I think
yeah,
resting in Rohan, and that's when Pippin decides that he just has to have another look at that black crystal ball. Has to, and he goes over, and Gandalf has his eyes wide open, but he's
is
sleeping.
that before or after the point where they're in this like beer house and the dwarf and Legolas
Oh
have a
yeah,
drinking
that's right. That happened first. That's right.
game?
They were dancing and singing, and
the
there
green the green dragon
there's a green
song,
dragon. Yeah, yeah, the whole green
or
dragon,
was that
and the
afterwards?
and
Because
the no, that was before. That was before. Definitely before. And then in Legolas and Gimli had another contest, and there was no contest. Gimli probably lost, not probably, but he lost horribly. You know, I think I have a tingly feeling. I told you he couldn't roll his leg up. Boom, passes out. Legolas just felt a little tingly. So yeah.
but yeah, so we do have the moment where everybody is asleep that night, and Pippin gets up, and Mary is awake, and he's like, "Pippin, what are
Like,
you
what are you
doing?"
doing? Like, put
Uh,
that back.
I just want to look at it. And he literally picks up the ball and he
And
goes into shakes and
you have the eyes saying "I see you," and all of a sudden the whole thing is in flames, and he's screaming and he can't let it go, and he's yelling, "Gandalf, help me!" And
and that's when everybody rushes in, and he's like, "Fool of a took," again.
Gandalf saves him and uh, finds
Well,
out what he told him, and realized he didn't tell him anything about Frodo or anything, but he now knows that Sauron thinks that he's Frodo, so now he's gonna be chased again. Um, so yeah, he knows that he's gonna have to take them, and when he actually finds out, what he dreamed of. Oh, he dreamed of the tree of life, the
and
tree
this
of
is
life,
kind of a sad moment
in
too, because
the forest.
he has to take him away with
Yeah,
him to Minas Tirith, and this is the first time that he has been away from Mary.
yeah,
Um,
and like Mary figured it out right away. He's like, you don't get it. Like, he thinks you're Frodo. You're gonna have to leave. You're not gonna be able to come back, and you know, and he's like, he didn't even know if he's gonna see him again. He's just like, this could be a goodbye. And he's upset too. They're both upset about it. Um,
well, yeah,
but,
because later he says that this is the first time that they've ever like not
yeah,
been together.
and of
Like
course you
I've
have
got
this.
I've got I got him into so much trouble, except I was the one who always got
No,
hit
no.
on him.
He said he always got into so much trouble, and I got him out. I was always there to get him out. Now it won't be. Um, yeah, which gets touched upon a little bit in the battlefield after Pippin finds Merry and saves him.
Yep.
But there's also we see a little war in the war room. There Gandalf is saying that Sauron is going to be heading to Minas Tirith to take out Gondor, and they need to muster up the forces. And Theoden is like, Gondor. Why should I go to their aid? They knew what came to our aid. And, Gandalf's just like, it's not a time to be petty about who helped who. Like, this is affecting everybody, whether it's happening here or there.
Hmm.
Which, excuse me, I can understand how Theoden feels about it, but again, yeah, it's bigger than him. It's bigger than Rohan. It's big. So, you got to put your feelings aside and just do it. So, and of course, Aragon. I'm surprised Aragon didn't say, Gondor might not have been there, but their king was. I know he wasn't their king yet, but still, or is, I mean, he's been there the whole time to help Rohan. Even though they know he's the man of Gondor, they know he's the future king. Like everybody knows it. So,
Hmm.
it's funny. And then we
Yes.
got.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Isildur's heir is not exactly very well thought of because of what Isildur did. And that's why most men who are in charge of the world of men do not entirely look forward to his return as king, because they're used to.
I think it's mostly just the steward and his family. Well, not Farmer, but Farmer was like that at first. And I think it's just the steward because he doesn't want to give up control. I think nobody else really had any fucking issue. Nobody else ever said anything. The only ones you ever saw have an issue with it was Barrymore and the steward, the father.
True, true. But yeah, we
I
do
think it
have
was
this
I think it was
essential.
more Aragon feeling ashamed for his line, and he was ashamed of where he came from because of what happened. So I think it was more self-imposed than anyone else feeling that way.
Okay, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, you get this initial meeting of the steward, and when he asks like, "What happened to my son?" because he's got the broken horn in his hand, and that's when Pippin pipes up,
First,
and
Pippin was told, "Now don't say anything about his son, and don't say anything about this, and don't say, in fact, don't talk at all." And of course, him being him, he didn't listen.
no, in fact, he offered him
He offered
him.
his sorry. He died saving our lives, and I offer you my service, and he's like, well, I will take that.
Well,
And he's like, how are you still alive? My son's dead. Well, he wasn't just taken out by one arrow. He was shot many times. So
to an extent, I can see why Pippin decided to talk in that moment because
I get it
Ge-
too. Well, I'm just saying, like Gandalf knew what would probably transpire because Gandalf is smart. That's what
uh,
like.
but
Don't say anything.
Gandalf didn't know that Denethor already knew that Boromir was dead.
No, he didn't. But Gandalf is still smart, and he can
Uh,
guess that maybe he knew.
He didn't
He
quite know all the circumstances, but he
right,
knew that he was dead.
but he knew all the circumstances that could. He knows all the possibilities. So you're trying to prevent him from saying anything from any possibility. But
Well, and in the Two Towers, we actually got a moment where where he actually told Boromir to actually steal the ring or take the ring for Gondor.
oh
I
yeah, I
believe
know.
so. But that being said, we get that, but now it's kind of a wait for when the battle will happen. But Gandalf has one one mission before he like takes on his stewardship. His knighthood, or whatever uh, his squireship. There we go.
Squad.
But he wants him to light there's this series of fire bales of hay and towers that it goes all the way along a mountain. I forget exactly what they call it, but it's the system that once they light these things, that they light one after the other all the way to the land of Rohan, in order to, sound
Only Gandalf
the
wanted him
battle
to do
cry of
that.
war.
Gandalf wanted him to do that, not the steward. The steward didn't want to call
That's
light
what
the
I said.
tower. Well, right,
I
but you
think
were
they just
saying about
refer
him.
to it as the flame is lit
You
or
were talking
whatever.
about him being a squire. He's not a squire to Gandalf. He's
I
nothing like
said
that.
before that Gandalf had actually wanted him to
He's not a
take
squire,
care of
he's
that.
a squab.
So
No, he's not a
Isn't
Neither.
it
squab,
called
he's a
He's the
ninja.
captain of the guard. I'm not captain. I mean, he's the guard of Rohan. I mean, of Gondor.
don't they refer to it as the beacon is lit?
yeah, the beacons
Yes.
of
Yes, it's called the beacon.
yeah. So he does light the beacon, and the beacons are lit, and that is a cool scene. I do like that where they just light along the mountainside, all the way down. Uh,
It was
and
very
that's
cool.
when Aragorn comes. Is the beacons of Gondor are lit, or something like that, and that's when Theoden was like, "And we will answer."
Yeah.
And he unfortunately he needs to gather men, so he sends like some of his men out ahead of time, and then on the third day, they all are supposed to meet, which I think
With
because
whoever they could gather.
Yeah, and I think because it takes them so long to get there is why the steward thinks that they haven't come to their aid.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, he's an asshole too. So
but while they are traveling along their way, there is this crag or crack in the mountains that evidently they've heard that men, women, anything that goes down this thing never comes back, and you see that for a moment, but um,
well, first of all, they were gonna go another way, one way, and Gandalf said, "No, you must go this way." Um, by something river. I can't the Anduin River, I think maybe. Um, so he wanted him to go that way because again, Gandalf knows what's up. You know, he knew that that Elrond would probably show up with a sword to knight him, and he would have to call upon the undead. But he doesn't want to tell him. He doesn't tell him anything. He just tells him to go that way, which is how Gandalf works. He always makes a little suggestion like, "Oh, do this way, do this way."
in
And there's
riddles.
always a reason. There's
He's,
always a reason because Gandalf always is like 5 steps ahead.
but we also get a scene where um, the love of Aragorn's life, the elf that he is in love with. She's on her way.
Heroin.
Yes, on her way to where elves go to escape.
Across the seas.
Across the seas, wherever the fuck that is. But
A distant land.
she evidently has a prophetic vision of her own that her father did not speak to her about before she goes.
Yeah, yeah. Aragon will grow old. Aragon will die, but she won't be alone. She'll be with their son, which
Yes.
he never mentioned, and then of course,
So she turns back.
Yeah.
And
he calls it the last ride of Arwen too. When he was
well,
talking
yeah,
about her
she
leaving,
basically
but it's the
confronts
last
her father about what he saw, and
But
he
wait,
basically tells her, and then he notices that she's so cold, and that apparently her fate is connected to the fate of the ring.
but hey, I thought Arwen had made herself mortal so that she could grow old with Aragorn.
No,
She had given him her necklace, which had her life source in it, but
Uh,
because she had come back and whatnot, her fate was now and tied in with what happens with the ring, um, and her life her life force is waning from her because of her staying behind. For some reason, her life is in the balance. So she has her father take the
remake the
shards of
sword.
Norsil sword. That's what it was called, the shards of Norsil.
Not so, but yeah.
And rebrand it into this like cool ass sword.
Yeah, remade it. And they're the ones who originally made it. Might have been
Yep.
him originally made it, first of all. But who knows? I don't know, probably.
And he brought it to Aragorn and told him that he's got to go down this, way and connect with
Nobody but the king can do this, and he pulls up the sword and basically
he's got to go in the
king,
area where people go and never come back.
he basically kings him Say night.
Well, we find out that the things that are down that way are the spirits of, and this I think was told to us by Legolas as they were like beginning.
Murderers and thieves that
Yeah,
that had promised Aragorn's father had promised Isildur to fight with them because they were the men of the mountains. And when it came time, they never showed up. They betrayed him. So he cursed them to forever not no peace until the king releases them. And of course, there was no king forever. So they were trapped as powerful spirits in the mountainside.
yep. And I believe that there is an extended scene here, because in the theatrical version you don't see Gimli like blowing air as he's going through the darn thing, or um, hearing the crackle of the skulls. You just see them go for it, and there
Yeah, he did
is
not like walking on them skulls. That was funny. He's like, every time he would step on one and it would crack. His face was just like, oh, 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 I
there.
forgot.
I also think that there was an extended scene added after Aragorn was like, "What say ye?" And then they
Yep. Yep,
make him wait.
the whole thing with the skeletons falling down and them almost like drowning and everything, that was all added. That there was the whole talk was a little bit was way longer.
Yeah, making them wait
Yeah, yeah,
longer
yeah,
for their
yeah.
decision.
Everything there was added, and then the next scene where they basically telling the men to surrender the ships, and that whole scene was also added because before I was like, where did they get the ships from? Like in the theatrical version because you don't see where they get the ships from. So that was definitely a great addition. You actually see how and I love how they're like, you and what? Whose army? This army. And the undead just and the men are all like, ah.
Yeah, because you don't, you only see them clash swords with the dude, and then
I
that's
love
when
how
they get off the ship
they're
later.
like Gimli fire. Not Legolas fire a warning shot, and Gimli hits the arrow, so it kills one of the guys. He's like, "Ooh, well, there's your warning." It's Gimli for you.
Well, and also we have back at Minas Tirith, we have Theomir. He shows back up, and he tells Gandalf and sees the halfling with him, and says that he saw him like Frodo and Sam like not 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
Apparently, yeah.
then he goes in and sees his father, and they have this moment where he's like, okay, you think I should have died and not
You
for.
wish it was me, and yes, I do. And
Well, I guess I'll go out and show you that I am not the man that you think I am, and he's like, that depends on the way that you come back.
yeah, no, I hope you think after I do this. I hope you think better of me in this when he says depends on the manner of which you come back.
Yeah.
Basically, you go out and die. I'll think better of you. He's just a scumbag.
And before he even goes out Gandalf tells him he's a fool and whatnot, and he's like, don't think too harshly on your father. He does love you, and he will let you
He
know
will
that
remember before the
he will
end.
remember before the end. And I don't think he ever really remembers.
He does because he wants to die with his son, even though he's not listening that Faramir is not dead. So,
Oh my!
so he actually does.
But yeah,
He wants to be with his son, and because he's
it
like
was
my
basically
line is dead, my line is over, my son is dead, and
it
Yeah,
was basically
what
a suicide ride. But I do want to say something about the how Theomir actually arrived at Minas Tirith, because
Tiamat.
Gandalf actually rode out with a staff, and um,
uh,
he basically shines his light on the dragons, and the dragon I think they're like more like wyverns than they are
Yes,
dragons.
wyverns.
uh,
Uh
by the way, what exactly was the deal with Faramir's father in that scene? Why was he not listening when Pippin was telling him that Faramir was alive?
He lost his mind. He was just fucking scared shitless of the fucking of the looming death. He just wasn't listening to anything.
yeah,
But we
he
need to
didn't
talk
want
about.
to he liked the power that he did. He loved Boromir so much more than he did love Theomir. But he didn't. Uh, it's hard to say because what he felt for his other son, but I don't think he felt love. I think he liked him.
Um,
No, he did, but it's just he didn't. He didn't realize
he
it in time. That's why, like, or he realized it at the end, and like said. But we need to talk about the song that um that Pippin sings
Yes.
because that was bone chilling, man. I defy you to not hear that and feel something
oh, he,
the way they played that out. Like the men, not just Faramir, but Faramir and all the men are going to die. Like they know it. They are riding out to go die for no
Yeah, and
fucking reason
you hear
other than they were
you hear the
communicating.
steward eating and crunching his food.
Yeah, yeah, and it
Eh,
really looks like he's bleeding, but it was what grapes or tomato, something
He
like
was
that.
just eating like a total pig.
You're right, exactly. But yeah, he's just sitting there stuffing his face and looks like he's bleeding, and he's just not even paying attention. He's still eating and listening to the song. The song is so bone chillingly, so well done, and it's just you totally it totally sets you that mood. Like, oh my god, these men are just going out to kill themselves, to just die.
which shows the talent
And
of
it's
Pippin
just
a little bit,
yeah,
as far as
yeah,
like
and
singing
he's
wise.
always been like singing fun songs, and he's always the goofball and the one getting in trouble. And this time it was serious. This is a serious song, and
Well,
this
I
was a
think
serious
Pippin
thing that was
kind of
going on.
changed a little bit too
Oh yeah. Yeah,
through
I mean,
this whole thing.
he finally learned his lesson after going to Gondor and then meeting
In a
the
sense, it was
steward and
kind of like his growing up,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. It took a while, but he finally got there. Like everybody else did. Everybody did some growing up, and he was probably the last one, but he did too. So
But yeah, he realized that Theomir was actually still alive, and he in fact tried to save him, but the steward threw him out, and I release you from my service, and closed the doors, and that's when he went down and grabbed to grab Gandalf again, because this wasn't the first time. Um, the Was it the first time or the second time that they actually got confronted by the Witch King?
yeah, I think it was this first time,
Okay,
because that was
because
an
that was an
extended
extended.
version too. That was the extended part. Was the battle with the
Well,
witch?
yeah, where he broke a staff and shit,
Yes.
and basically scared the shit out of Gandalf.
I don't think he scared the shit out of Gandalf, but Gandalf. I mean, Gandalf was afraid, but not afraid.
He
Kind of like
looked kind of scared to me.
he's a wizard. Wizards are never scared. They're never not scared. They're exactly the way they want to be. Ask him; he'll tell you.
But yeah, so I'm not sure whether he gains his staff again after that.
Makes a new one. Probably
Okay.
pops another one out of thin air. Who knows? I mean, hell, he had the power to break Sarma and stuff, so probably just
Yeah,
making
but
another one.
his power definitely did not match the Witch King's at that moment.
No.
But
Well, no man can strike him down.
I guess it's that moment that's when the armies of Gondor have actually finally arrived.
You mean Rohan? Rohan?
Yeah, Rohan. The armies of Rohan have
Well,
actually arrived.
they showed up after. Yeah. They showed up after
Because that's
Hammer
what got
died.
his
But
attention.
that scene, I mean, as we didn't really talk, is the scene where they finally show up and all the orcs and goblins are have their bows struck and the leaders just and then he tells them to fire and
we do
they're all
have to
just
talk
being
about
shot and
that wolf's head ram.
yeah.
That was fucking wicked.
Oh, it was,
Yeah,
and it
that
was,
thing was scary,
and it
man.
was so fucking evil when they said release the prisoners, and they just threw all the heads of the people's family and friends. They just threw the heads back at them with the catapults, which is just a really fucking evil tactic. It's great. It's so fucking great for as a villainous thing to do. It's like fucking that's awesome, but it's so like oh my god, it's horrible. On the other
Yeah,
on the
that
good
head
side of things.
mutated orc was getting mad at them because they weren't able to like break down the door, and they were like, "We can't break it down; it's too strong." Well, let's bring out the wolf's head.
Yeah, that was badass. Definitely. And they
Well,
had some.
and I do have to say that when Mysterians when they took those big ass bricks and like had them catapulted over, you saw a bunch of orcs get smashed and shit. That was
Oh
cool
yeah, that was
too.
great. I love how he was like nobody move, and when coming down, he just steps aside, and everyone else gets squished.
But when the riders of Rohan and the armies of Rohan like charge down that hill, you see this is the first time you actually see the orcs get like scared because they're backing up. You see their reaction, like, "What the fuck do we do now?" you know, and they literally just like smash their way through. And then I think after they smash their way through, and you see a little bit of that battle, that's when you see the ship appear on the dock, and the one like workers like, "You're late again," and
You're a
they come
forever
off
squab.
and are like, "You and what are these?" This army.
Yes, that's one of my favorite parts is when he says that. Also, they all come off the ship, and the look on their faces is just like, "Oh shit!"
And then you just see this swarm of green throughout the battle.
And then of course we
And
got Gimli and Legolas back to their contest of who can kill more. And one of my favorite parts is when Legolas takes down the elephant and then slides down, and Gimli just looks at him and still counts as one.
yeah, when the elephants first arrive, you hear the horns first, and then you see the tusks of these
It
fucking
is
things
so
and the
fucking
riders.
awesome. The way he
Just the
takes it
way they
down.
look.
Oh yeah, it's awesome way they look, and it's awesome way Legolas takes it down, and then Gimli's just like it still counts as one. It's like the best fucking line in the movie, man.
Well, before that, you actually do get a few of the elephants downed by them. I mean, Mary and Eowyn, they're going through, and she's like slicing the calves of these fuckers, and and you see some of the Rohan soldiers taking down a few of them. I liked when the rider, her brother, takes a spear and spears the one guy.
Yep.
Which that was a cool moment. But this was all like before, like they the swarm of dead dudes even fucking arrived. So, but you see the swarm go through, and all the rest of the battle is basically Mary and Eowyn get knocked off their horse, and somehow Theoden gets smashed on his horse, and just about when the Witch King is about to like kill him or whatnot, that's when Eowyn shows up,
And she kills the wyvern.
yeah, she cuts off the head of the wyvern.
Cuts off the head of the wyvern.
Right before he
And
said,
he's
"Don't
like,
get in the way."
never get between a Nazgul and his victim, and you know, and they're fighting, and he's like, "No man can kill me," and she's like, "I'm no man," and stabs him in the face, but she hurts her hand.
Yeah, she hurts her hand, and
as
so does Mary. Mary hurts his hand too.
soon as she stabs him. Yeah, that's why they were actually talking about when she was passed out. It was actually from the pain of killing him, because
Yeah.
it still affected both of them. They're both there, and so they both kind of got knocked out from that, and that's when her brother thought she was dead, because you know it looked she was dead.
Well, and I don't think Mary was killed because he wasn't exactly a man either. So, in a sense, it took both of them to take him down. So
yeah, you know, Mary was underneath somebody, and like passed out, and that's why Pippin found him.
Don't forget the Eagles came to help too.
yeah,
That was later. That was at the Black Gate.
yeah, that was later. Yeah, because after this battle, the dead dudes came up and said, "Hey, you said that once we helped you, you'd let us go." And at first, Gimli's like, "Well,
they're pretty good to have around. You gave us your word. I released you. Go now in peace."
Yeah, well, I must admit, if I was in Aragorn's situation, I would have at least asked them if they would be willing to help a little more. Then, if they said no, then I would say, okay, you can go. But I would at least ask.
They're not gonna wanna. They didn't care about the fight. They just wanted to get released.
yeah." And it was better that he be honorable, you know.
Yep. He said he was gonna do it, and that's that, you know.
But so they have a moment where they're sitting in Minas Tirith, and meanwhile, we haven't even talked about Frodo and Sam's journey with Gollum. You've got Sam, who is not trustworthy of Gollum at
He's
all.
very
In fact, he's
trustworthy.
overheard Gollum talking about, you know, what's going to happen, like once they get to the tunnel. He just doesn't know the whole entire fucking story.
He thinks that Gollum is going to kill him, and no, Gollum's not trying to kill him. Gollum's trying to get the Spider Queen to kill him, but you know, he doesn't know that. And yeah, you're like, well, what were you doing then? Sneaking. Such a great scene.
Well,
and then
he also got rid of the llamas.
The Gollum Gollum gets rid of the food and sprinkles the crumbs over Sam, makes it look like he got up and ate it all, and yeah, that scene kind of annoyed me. that that Frodo would just so easily believe, um, not believe Sam and believe
Well,
Gollum.
at this Frodo was at a point where he was very gullible, and he really thought that he had a kinship with Gollum, and was starting to trust
I
him
know, but he's
even
known
more.
Sam for like 80 fucking years, and that should have counted for something. you know,
Again, it's the ring.
again, nothing. Yeah, it annoyed me. That should not have happened.
It annoyed me, but not as much as it obviously annoyed you. I get why he
I
did that.
get how he felt with Gollum. I totally get that. I totally get he was a sucker, but yeah, still he should have been way more loyal to Sam. Luckily for Frodo, Sam was still loyal to him. Also, probably the
Um,
fact that Sam was like, I just came all this freaking way, and now I'm supposed to go back by myself with no food and alone. Yeah, screw that. Mm.
Yeah, I'm glad that Sam came
There's
back
no
in the
way
end.
that Sam was gonna leave him anyway, so he just knew it was gonna happen.
No, and I imagine because J.R. Tolkien had been part of some of the major wars. This moment where Sam like picked him up and carried him to the mouth of
That
Doom
was
later
later.
on. Like I said, later on, um, uh, that it's very possible that he might have seen something as miraculously as
It
that.
was it was a great scene in the cave. First with Frodo getting stuck and Smeagol just trying to, or Gollum trying to, he let him into it, and then he got him stuck, and he's taking, he's just totally being the villain, and
Yep.
then he sees Frodo actually starting to break through of the web. He's like, oh, and that's when he goes to hide, and then when Frodo breaks through, he attacks him.
Yeah,
And
and
then
we do have to
he gets
talk
rid of
about
that,
we
and
do have to talk about Tammy's new household pet that Gollum leads him to.
No.
he also
wait, what?
he ends up having a good fight.
Uh,
He ends up having a good fight against the spider, and he comes decently close to winning, but of course in the end she gets him.
Well,
uh,
and Galadriel gave Frodo this
The light
um, this light, this bulb of light, which also I
shine
believe
when there is no other light, when all
The
darkness
spider
is.
did not like that light.
no, the spider did not, but he still was able to stab
She
Frodo. She was still able to stab Frodo,
did you just assume that
and
spider's gender?
no, it is a she.
I
Look it up.
know.
Look up spiders, and you'll
I,
know.
I know I'm just making fun of those morons who get pissed off about gender stuff.
but
None of
yeah,
that.
she
We're talking
stabs
about
him and wraps him up in her webbing, and that's when
Sam shows up and
yep.
It's
and, and
see,
fights
that's not my pet. That's Sassy's pet. She likes she likes
and
Oh yeah,
Sam fights the
what pet is that? Tell me.
Sam fights the spider, gets up Sting and picks up Sting and fights and basically wounds her severely, and she takes off, and
And the
he
name of that
realizes
spider is actually Shalob.
he realizes that Frodo is dead, so he grabs the ring and he has goblins, so he hides. And that's when he has the goblin. The goblin's like, "Oh, this one is not dead. He's still alive." That's how she likes it. She likes them
That layer of her.
freshly alive. And that's when Sam's like, "Sam, you fool!" But it worked out good because they ended up treating Frodo's wounds too. You know,
Boris. It was a joke because I don't like spiders. that David was saying it was
Spiders are horrible.
So
Yes,
I was
yes.
Yeah,
teasing.
her lair was called Cirith Ungol.
I was teasing back because my kitty cat does not act like other kitty cats. She thinks that anything and everything is her friend, including spiders. So I said it would
Oh,
be her pet, not mine.
ah, oh, I see.
Because if you kill a spider or any other insect and she sees you do it, she looks at you like you just killed her best friend.
Oh,
Or my
uh,
cat before her, I always said was my built-in exterminator. My cat before her did take care of animals. I mean, took care of insects and spiders and stuff. So, not to get off the movie, but one time there was a spider on the wall with my other cat, and in the bathroom. I came out here, picked up the cat, took her in there, showed her the spider. She knocked it off the wall. I took off out of the bathroom because now it's on the floor. She chased him around for a little bit and went splat, and that was it. No more spider.
Well,
yeah, spiders are
some
nasty.
orcs came along and grabbed the body of Frodo, and Sam was like, You idiot," because he left his body there,
Said all that already.
and
He was
they
still alive. The orc said that he was still alive. And that's when Sam said, "Oh, you idiot! He's still alive." Because that's the way she likes them. Fresh meat.
Yeah, I do like this moment where they stop and like have them like have the orcs talk about the way that they like.
Yeah, it's cool the way they explain it. That
Yeah,
she paralyzed the victim with a sting, but they're
No, it
still
is not cool.
alive.
That's like, ugh.
Well, the
Right.
story was freaky as fuck, but the rest was
Uh,
cool.
honestly, I could barely stomach looking at that hideous thing.
It's freaky as fuck. I hate spiders.
It is freaky.
Yeah.
I think I cringed more watching that whole thing with the spider than I did with anything else in this movie.
Oh, totally.
Yes, yes.
Totally, or most of the so-called horror movies, I'm like, that's why it's like
when
horrifying.
Frodo got
Actually horrifying.
caught in that big giant web and he was struggling.
Oh,
Yeah,
horrifying.
in
She
the
was
You
red
know
using
what's
room.
like
funny?
a web.
My mom
What?
always teased me because I don't like spiders, but yet I've watched just about every damn spider movie there is.
Uh,
My sister hates spiders, but they seem to like her.
and yet
Uh,
and yet Tammy actually likes tarantulas.
You're
oh,
fucking nuts.
really?
Tarantulas. Tarantulas are
She
not
said that
spiders.
an ex of hers actually had a pink toed
Fucking
tarantula at
nuts.
one point in time.
They are the worst
Uh,
fucking spiders around. And I know they're not
What
spiders, but I don't care. I'm
what
calling them
was
a
its
spider.
name?
Hairy little bastards.
Taranga.
uh, since when are tarantulas not spiders?
They're not. They're arachnids.
I got the
Uh,
name the pink toad and they named her Taranga. She was a quick little fucker, man.
Name her Squash. That's what you do.
You don't
Or
have.
what?
You know that those they don't have a backbone, so if you drop them from like even a small distance, they'll die because they don't have no backbone.
Good. Die,
Tarantulas
motherfuckers,
don't.
die.
No, just wait until one shows up in your apartment.
I'll move.
uh,
You can have it. It's yours. Here's the keys.
The first time I held one, I lived up north, and we
No.
we were watching this. We let this guy move in with us, and he brought his gecko and his girlfriend's tarantula when he moved in, and he let the tarantula out, and he got me to hold it, and this was a big tarantula. Well, I have really small hands, and I'm holding him in both of my hands, and all of a sudden his body like went down, and I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck is he doing? And dude's like, oh, he's just going to sleep. He's comfortable with you. So I kind of got him onto one hand, and he was sleeping. and she come over. So I put him back down, and she's trying to get to her. This is her pet. She's trying to get it to come over by her. It goes over by her. It lifts its front legs and shows its fucking fangs at her. And
Oh,
she freaked out because this is supposed to be her pet. And the thing turned around and come back over by me. And she got all upset because her pet showed its fangs and everything at her, and here it comes back over by me.
But
They're
yeah.
fun. I mean, when they walk, they like pinch on your skin, not like a regular spider. It's like ooh, when you feel it on you. These they because when they walk, they kind of like pinch, so it feels totally different.
So
No,
I'll send you one for your birthday, okay?
no.
the only spiders I'm okay with
I'll
are
send you 3 of every kind of spider there
are
is.
plush, plastic, and rubber spiders, and spider web.
Oh, okay. So you want a tarantula too? Okay.
No!
The only spider I like is Spider-Man and Spider-Woman.
Oh, okay, yeah, Spider Woman too, of course.
Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, oh, Spider-Gwen.
Oh, he would just want Spider Woman to wrap her up in her web. Anyways, I suppose we should get back to the movie.
Yep.
Oh,
So yeah, the orcs have him have Frodo up in their like tower. They're playing around with his belongings, and Sam. I do like this part where
fighting over the belongings, and this time it was the orc, the goblin that said, this is for Sauron, not for anyone else, and the orc guy's like, I don't take orders from orcs, and of course they start fighting because that's just what they do.
Well, as he was going up the stairs, I liked how he used his shadow to
that
scare
was
them.
so great. The 3 goblins are like, and they're like backing away, and then they see him, and they're like, it's just a freaking little hobbit. And then he kills them. This one's for Frodo, and this one's for the Shire, and that one's for my old gaffer.
It's unfortunate that Frodo lost his mithril, though.
Yeah.
You saw one of the orcs like walk out with it while
Is that
Sam
what I
was
was
going
doing?
up.
I was wondering what happened because I didn't see that actually.
Yeah, I found it funny when one of the orcs wanted to keep that for himself. Like, what would he do with it? He couldn't fit into that.
I don't know. It's like spoils for orcs, they
Spoils
like
of
funny
war.
shit.
Sorry, what did you say, Dave?
Spoils.
They like funny shit. It's kind of like leprechauns. They like collecting shit,
Ah,
It isn't just that. A lot of people like to collect shit.
Dragons like collecting treasure. So
Just like
it's
when serial killers like to collect things their victims sometimes, or Batman when he takes out a villain, he collected all their weapons and stuff.
But yeah, so after that is when they don orc I would say battleware, and they join up with
we have the moment where Sam saves Frodo again when the orc is about to kill Frodo, and Sam stabs him.
And then that's when he has that moment where he almost doesn't want to hand over the ring because he asks him about
He's
it.
like, I beg your pardon, but I have a safekeeping because I thought you were dead. And then he's like, he goes to hand it, and then he pulls back, and and then he's like, Sam, give it to me. And he had this like weird like music and a little bit of weirdness to it. Like he knew that something was going, that the ring was really trying to get Sam to take it, and the ring just tries everything it can to get what it wants.
Yep. But Frodo gets it back, and they don the orc wear, and they end up joining a part of an orc army that is evidently leading them, leading. Probably going towards the Black Gate, but they have to like follow along. They get like at first they're like on the side, but they get whipped into to line.
Yeah.
And they realize that one of the lead dudes is like on their way towards them. So Frodo's like, pick a
Frodo's
fight
like,
with
hit,
me.
hit me, and they so they start fighting, which works perfectly.
Yep. And so they head towards Mount Doom, and they get about maybe halfway, and Frodo's out of breath, and he's like, "We got this far. I may not be able to carry the ring, but I can definitely carry you." So he picks Frodo up and carries him a little bit of the way, but and once they get to the mouth, that's
And
about
then
when Gollum jumps out.
shows back up again.
You
Damn,
got
Gollum has 9 lives. Yeah, you think he died like 4 or 5 times?
well, yeah. The last time wasn't he like thrown down
Yeah.
a crevice?
Yeah.
But yeah. That's when Frodo, I guess, continues. Sam is able to knock Gollum out at least a little bit, and he follows Frodo into Mount
Now
Doom.
we should go back to what's happening with Gandalf
Yeah.
and that they decide that that Frodo is going to need all the help that he can get, and with all those orcs there, they need a distraction, so that they
diversion.
take all the all the men and everybody they have, and they head to the Black Gate, and they call out Sauron to answer for his crimes, and of course someone comes out, and we get that awesome scene that was also added where Aragorn just chops the dude's head off. Don't kill
yeah,
the
by
messenger.
the
Oops, too late.
Well, at first you kind of get him being. There is a moment where Aragon actually holds that black ball, and he's shown like this is like after the Eowyn gets back on her feet or whatnot. He actually goes and seeks out the Melantium ball and holds it for a moment, and he sees I guess he sees the elf a woman that he loves
Erwin.
die or something like that.
I think he sees her dying or something like that.
Yeah, it scares him. But when the eye actually turns towards him, it almost looks like it's trying to call him. The eye on top of the tower, and that's when he turns back and is like, for Middle Earth, or for freedom, or for Frodo. That's what he says.
There
And then
may be
they
a time when men fail. There may be a time when we die, but that is not today. Not this day.
By the way, you just reminded me of something else I didn't understand in these movies. Like, if Sauron died at the beginning of the first movie, and throughout the whole story he has existed just in the form of this fiery eye, then how does he even give orders to his orcs? How does he
Because he imbued all his power to this ring that they're trying to destroy.
Yeah, but how does he communicate with his minions when he doesn't even have a body? When
He
he
just
doesn't
does.
have a
He just
Because he
mouth.
is.
communicates to the leaders, and the leaders communicates to the everybody else. Like
See,
he can still
he's the sorcerer.
he's yeah, he's so powerful that even
He
and
created this master ring to rule all rings
you need
of
to
power.
watch you need to watch the Rings of Power.
Ah, mm, okay.
But
Get a lot more story, and yeah, you get to meet Sauron.
but yeah, so they begin that battle, and of course, like Tammy mentioned earlier, Gandalf actually calls on his butterfly fly that brings the eagles um, that help out. Meanwhile, while all of this is going
Yeah,
on,
when the Wyverns show up, he calls the Eagles, and the Eagles come in, and basically fuck up the Wyverns.
yeah, those are all the nine Nar those are the nine, the other eight of men that held rings of power at one point in time. Because remember, in the very beginning, we're told about the nine rings that were given to the race of men, 7 to the dwarf lords,
And 3 to the elves.
and 3 to the elves.
But they
It's
were all
but they
deceived.
were all of them deceived
Because
because
Gorr made one ring to rule them all.
he made one ring to rule them all, and he made them from the fires of Mount Doom. And it is like they always say, you fight fire with fire. So that which created it also will destroy it. So and Sildor, when he had those, he was able to get the ring from Sauron after he had killed him, and he was at the same spot that Frodo is actually at, and he had the chance to get rid of the ring. He did
But
not.
the ring, put through all its forces into Isildur, and made Isildur think that he wanted the ring, and he could wield it.
Yep. But ultimately, it led to his death, and then eventually the ring was lost, and then of course, Gollum, Smeagol,
Well, Deagle finds it, and then
Deagle finds it, and Smeagol killed him
Smeagol,
for it.
yeah.
So, and then of course we have where Bilbo actually got it from Gollum. So,
The Hobbit.
yep, which is all
I
part of
love
the
how
Hobbit.
in the Hobbit it was just this little thing. Oh, he got this ring from. They make him turn invisible in the Hobbit. It wasn't that big of a thing in the Hobbit. It wasn't. It was just a thing. And then it turns out to be this huge thing that creates the Lord of the Rings, and it's pretty awesome.
But yeah, so we get Frodo. He's standing at the cliff inside Mount Doom, and he's got the ring out. It looks like he's gonna drop it, but he turns around,
He
says,
turns
"It's
around, pulls it
mine."
off the chain, and says, "No, it's mine," and he puts it on, and Gollum knocks out Sam, but then jumps on to Frodo because he sees his footsteps in the sand.
Yep, and he basically bites the ring off, and because of his greed, he is not realizing that he's backing up, and he
I don't think at
literally,
this point he cares. Like he fell, and his only thought was to grab the ring, and he still had a smile on his face as he's burning in the lava, dying because he's
yeah.
holding
Because
on to
at first,
his precious ring.
at first I thought that one of them had actually like tumbled with him off the cliff. And
Oh, Frodo fell off, but he was hanging by a hand.
yeah, and and Sam's
This is
like,
where
"Don't let
Sam
go,
comes back and
don't let go," you know.
don't let go. And he's like, "Give me your hand." Tries to give him his hand, and of course, it's all covered with blood, so it's slippery and slimy, and so that doesn't work too well. And but he finally gets him, and he finally pulls him up, and
That's when we get them two outside, and
and of course, this is where, of course, the ring starts destroying. So as soon as the ring starts getting destroyed, all of a sudden the eye starts breaking, and all of Mount Doom starts erupting, and all of the Black Gate area and everything, all of it was breaking up and
sunken in,
swallowing the orcs, and
and the orcs were running.
yeah, everything was just being swallowed up, and opening, the earth was opening up and everything, and it was such a great fucking scene, and it was like, I love how, you see Pippin, Merry and Pippin, yay, Frodo, when it first starts happening, because as soon as that's happening, like, everybody knows, oh, that was Frodo destroying the ring, so.
But yeah, and you get this moment where Sam and Frodo are on the mountain, and they're saying well, Frodo is saying that he's glad that that Sam is up there with him at the end of all things, and they have a moment where he's where Sam's like talking about all the things that he can remember eating.
He would have married the bar.
Yeah, he would have married Rosie, and and there was a moment before where Frodo actually said that he couldn't remember the smell or the taste of things earlier. And and I know that you, Boris, were joking in the chat that I guess he couldn't smell or taste anything. I guess he's got COVID.
Yeah,
But
sorry, I couldn't resist.
but in any case, being said, Frodo and Sam were picked up by the Eagles, and I guess, Frodo was flown to, I believe it was Rivendell, because he woke up and Gandalf was there, and they both laughed, and then everybody else came in, and you got to see a moment where the four hobbits went to their local pub, and they all had a drink, and it was kind of a solemn moment because they were back, but everything was
Nothing
changed.
was the same. Yeah.
Nothing was the same. But Sam got up, and I guess he got the courage to ask Rosie out, and you saw him getting married with Rosie, and evidently they had already had kids.
Well, everything he went through, asking a girl out was not very scary anymore.
But I guess you get this moment where Frodo is actually continuing to write
Well,
the
he finishes the
story.
book.
Yeah, he finishes the book, but he leaves
Yeah.
some space left for Sam.
Harry Back Again by Bilbo Baggins and Lord of the Rings by Frodo Baggins. Oh, you finished your book.
And
And
I
then
guess
we see
it's
Bilbo, and then we see Bilbo, and like, where are we going?
yeah. They're traveling
They're
to
going
the seas.
because he was left a spot on the last ship out by the elves, and of course then he says, you still have that ring I gave you, and of course Frodo says, I'm sorry, Uncle, I lost it. He goes, such a shame.
I would have loved to have
I would like to
hold it
touch
one
it
more time.
one last time.
Yeah, to show you that it held that much power over those who have held the ring, you know. But ultimately, they arrive at this ship that is being sent to where I guess those of magical, you know, I think this is a ship that takes those who are meant to die. I guess
No, live forever.
live forever.
Uh,
Yeah. It's an all
Okay,
in, dude. I told you. Watch Rings of Power.
uh,
You
oh
actually see
yeah,
the
by
you
the
actually see the
way,
la- you actually see the land in Rings of Power.
uh,
okay.
by the way, one thing I didn't understand about that, what would have happened to Frodo if he had stayed in the Shire?
He just didn't want to stay. He just didn't feel like it was home anymore.
Well,
Ah,
and he really didn't like seem to have like any real interest in girls or anything like that. That when she was in the Shire,
Well,
he
guys, he was just asexual.
he
uh,
he seemed to be a lone wolf kind of a character, and so when he
No
came,
cub.
but also in the book, he was mortally wounded by that king.
He was
So
in
he
the
was,
movie too. He even mentioned it in the movie. He
yeah,
still
he was
feels
in the
that he
movie.
still feels the blade.
Yeah, he
well,
still feels the blades, and in the book, he was actually dying from that mortal wound. The elves had just like wasted it at least for a little bit, you know.
well,
Uh,
I must admit, what's this noise?
that's Ron being a dick, but that's okay.
Uh,
We're at the end of all things anyway, ways because we get the moment where Frodo um, it also gets to be taken along with Bilbo and Gandalf on this journey to live forever.
yeah, but I must say I found that ending a bit of a bummer. Why couldn't they have just let him stay with his friends? Wouldn't that have been a better
He didn't
ending?
want to stay. He wanted to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, why did it have to be written that way aside from just not making it a happy ending?
if you go through what he went
Because life doesn't
through,
always
you
have
would
a
be
happy ending.
forever changed. I mean,
Because
you
life
would
doesn't
never
always
be
have
the
a happy
same.
ending.
And
Uh,
knowing what the ring did to Gollum and knowing what it did to Bilbo, I mean, he carried the ring a long fucking way. I mean, that power
And that
drains
that
on
ring
you.
was really pushing to have its will on him. And I'm sure that took an emotional toll on him. Besides the physical toll that you saw, the emotional toll too.
In a
That he needed
sense,
to.
you could say as soon as the ring was thrown in there, it's like he lost his soul and his will to continue on living at least the way he was used to living when he lived in the Shire. So it's like a piece of him was missing and would
oh,
forever be missing. It's
okay.
as if an arm and a leg was severed from his body, and he would never have it again. So, um, now that we are at the end of it all, what did y'all think about the production? Uh, what about you, Tammy? We haven't heard from you in a while.
I thought it was great. Like in the other movies, the scenery is awesome. The different creatures they come up with are great. Um, the fights, are really good. You hear like the sound of the blades. You hear when they were in that one part, and I always forget all the names, but when he was walking on the skulls and you could hear all the crunch and crunch and crunch, you know, and then the portrayal of the ghostly warriors was really good, and I mean, I think everything was great. I lo- um I love seeing the huge eagles. I those those were like, I guess, my favorite creatures is when the huge eagles came. And I don't we realize that there is definitely CGI in it, but I think it's done tastefully because it it makes everything work. Okay,
Yeah,
you're not
everything
just
looked real,
right. You're not just
for
seeing a scene that's all CGI, and you're like, okay, that couldn't have happened. That couldn't have happened. It works with it
you
all.
can't tell that it's computerized.
Pretty much.
I mean, you can tell. I mean, you know that what did you call them, wyverns or whatever? You know that those are CGI, but they work so well with what's going on, else is going on, that they seem real.
Well, yeah, and even when Eowyn like cut the head off of one, that looked fucking real. I mean,
Right.
you heard the thump of the frickin' eel head that it had. So,
Yeah, I think the production was really good.
what about you, Boris? What did you think about the production end of it?
Oh, it was definitely very good. Of course, of course, there has to be CGI. It couldn't have been made any other way. But as Tammy says, it's really not very noticeable, and the effects are great. I couldn't even begin to name them all. Like what comes to mind is. The fiery eye, the orb, the moment when the ring was finally thrown into the fire, when Aragorn chopped that guy's head off. Of course, the dragons and all these creatures. Okay, I could be naming it until tomorrow. There was so much,
Oh
but
yeah, when he clashed swords with the ghostly warrior, that was wicked too.
oh,
You
oh
know,
yeah, the ghostly warriors too. Uh,
and he was like, "Holy shit! The sword, it was broken. It is now, it is now you know,
yeah,
remade."
what word did he use? Yeah. Uh, yeah, when it comes to production, there is definitely nothing I can complain about.
Yeah, there's nothing that I can complain about either. I mean, all the different creatures that you get throughout the entire series. I consider Lord of the Rings like one fucking thing that you have to watch, like in its entirety, because you can't just watch one without the other. You know, um, and whatnot. I actually do believe that because they were three separate novels, they should be three separate movies, and you definitely need all of that which went on to show you the different creatures from the different lands, and how long of a journey it actually took them to get to the mountain. And all the different things that they had to surpass to be able to come to these final battles between the different lands. But Ron, what did you think about the production?
Well, it's Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's top notch. It's the best there is. I mean, even today, I couldn't make it better. I mean, it's best. The best there is. I mean, 20 years from now, I don't think it could be possibly made better. It's perfect. You know, these movies
well,
are just perfect. Everything looks great. Yeah, that things are computer generated wyverns because wyverns don't
it,
exist, and the ghosts don't exist, and things don't exist, but that are in there, so you know it's computer generated, but it flows so well with
it,
everything, the backgrounds and everything else that it looks real. Everything looks real. It totally takes you into their world and shows you this is their world, this is real, and this is everything, and everything is just so fucking well done and so believable, and it's awesome.
in 20 years, I believe they will have remastered these movies over and over again, like they're doing with Star Wars.
They can remaster all they want, but it's still perfect, so I don't think it'll get any better.
Well, for today's standards, yeah, but in 20 years, who knows what's going to.
Maybe I'll be around to see it, and and you being around, you can say I told you so, or I
Come
can say I
on.
told you so, or whatever. So, but yeah, just top notch, just 100%. You know, like everyone said, the wyverns, the black crystal ball, the everything, the lava, like I said, the whole scene when the ring gets destroyed and everything being destroyed, everything opening up and the eye falling, and just the whole scene was just so incredible,
Yes.
incredibly done.
So I guess Tolkien only named 4 dragons in his Middle Earth writings. Um, trying to read what the name of the dragons were. Okay, so there was Ankalagan the Black, um, and he was a dragon bred by Morgoth during the First Age, as told in the Silmarillion. Um, and then there was Scatha, which was a mighty a long worm of the Grey Mountains, little known as of Scatha, except that he was slain by Fram in the early days of the Eotheod, the ancestors of the riders of Rohan. And then there was Smog, which he was the last named dragon in Middle Earth. So I guess they don't really call those things that the
They're
Nazgul.
wyverns,
Uh,
not dragons.
but yeah, but other than that, what did y'all think about the music?
Mm, uh, I would say it was pretty good. It definitely went well with the movie, and I did like some specific songs, like what Pippin was singing, or the song in the ending credits, and what else was there?
Well, the music was once again done by Howard Shore, and I know that he's been part of many different productions. Um, he was partially conductor of the of some of the Twilight Saga. Peter Jackson's King Kong used some of his composing music. He also worked with behind another movie that Viggo Mortensen was in, A History of Violence. Um, and before this movie, he was a conductor for the Panic Room. Um, he did some music for The Cell and Dogma and
Dogma is a
Existence.
great movie.
Um, Seven. He was a music producer behind Seven, and he was a conductor for the movie Ed Wood, The Client, Mrs. Doubtfire,
Hmm.
Naked Lunch. Great fucking movie. The Silence of the Lambs, The Fly, the remake, and quite a few others. But yeah, I thought the music was serviceable, and I thought that the music went with the film. What did you think, Tammy?
I thought it went really good, and then like Kroll had said before, when this Pippin sings the song,
Yeah,
that is just, yeah, it totally fit right there, and it is really sad, But I think all the rest of the background music definitely went with it.
and also out of all three films, I think that Pippin was the only other one who sang a sad song. I mean, Eowyn sang when her brother died, or at his funerals, and that was a sad song too. So, I think
Cousin.
Pippin's song was sadder.
It was our cousin.
Yeah, it was her cousin, but still, she sang it beautifully.
She did.
But I think that's one thing I got to say about the Token trilogy is that there was a lot of like bard music and ballads and songs that were part of the books that were um, instrumental in being brought to screen for this trilogy. And I like the fact that you get music other than just a score, in order to show that there's character involved, and a land that is kind of surrounds around um, legends and things of that nature, by use of song, you know. So, but that being said, let's go into favorite scenes and our favorite characters again. So,
Don't want me to tell you what I think about music.
oh, go right ahead.
Well, I love the music. Definitely went with the movie, like everyone said, and again to touch upon Pippin's song. It was like I said, bone chilling. Just the it was like a music video that just touched your soul. Just watch those men going to the death, and as he's singing the song, and it's so solemn. It's so so emotional. You just feel it. No matter what, you just feel the power behind the song. Yeah, and the abstract look on the steward, like he's just listening. He doesn't give a shit what it's about. Whether they sending his son and all his men to their death. Like he just eating his food. He doesn't even really seems like he cares about eating his
He
food. He
just
just
seems
like
like he's
he's like a
royal,
robot. He's
spoiled
like
rich dude.
he's like on automation. Just on automation, and Pippin is just singing his heart out. This song and this solemn song, and it's so sad, and like I said, it just touches you, and it's just awesome, 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 awesome song, and the rest of the score is really good. So definitely give it an A+. So
I
that's my
agree.
thoughts.
Um, Headed into favorite scenes and our favorite characters. Let's begin with you, Boris, since this was technically your first time watching it.
You just have to mock me about that, huh?
Forever and ever.
uh, well, actually, I had quite several favorite scenes here. Most definitely, I loved Saruman's death.
Yeah, that was pretty wicked.
Oh yeah, the Denator's death was great too. The Spudhouse when the tower was destroyed in Mordor at the end, and even earlier this White Palace or whatever it was that was also destroyed. Uh, that was also a good Spud.
Okay.
Wait, I think I forgot something, but oh yeah, when Aragorn chopped that guy's head off. Uh, 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 I'm not sure. I think I'm still forgetting something, but
You probably are.
yeah,
There's just so
the
many good
character,
moments, honestly. There's
uh,
many good
yeah,
moments, I think.
uh,
Like I get I know that I myself personally get a kick out of Gimli when he's stepping on those skulls, and he's like, at first I'm thinking the floor beneath him will like cave in and he's gonna drop somewhere or something like that, you know. Uh, but if I were to say favorite character, it's hard to say. I still think that Merry and Pippin are very strong characters. I do think that Sam. I like Sam in this particular movie. He really shines in this film as part of like the backbone of what gets Frodo to Mount Doom. You know, because Frodo by this point in time is just kind of like a ghost of himself. You know. Uh, and he could swing either way. He could he keeps trying to go towards like other areas. You know, he's drawn towards shit, and Sam's like the one that's like, Frodo, what are you doing? You know, bitch, get back here. You know, so but yeah, it's hard to say. There's a lot of freaking moments that are favorites. Like, I enjoy the fact that Legolas can jump up on top of the elephants and like they were nothing, whereas everyone else it seems to just scramble. Where his leaping on top of the arrows and shit and getting on top of the elephants is just like natural. You know, it's like anything that he can climb and like stick arrows into the fucking skull of the thing is just fucking great. Um, I like the fact that when they go to get the dead warriors, they don't exactly just tell him yes, that it takes them a moment and whatnot. That's cool. I do like the battles. I do like the part where Eowyn says, I am woman." You know, I am a woman. Part I love that. The fact that the Witch King was like, no man can kill me. You know, and I think that those are pretty much my favorites. I mean, oh, and the spider. I think the way that they made the spider was actually pretty cool. I mean, it seems like they based it on a tarantula, the way that it like
mm,
reared its back and whatnot. And I do think that it was a really creepy scene. So,
yes.
other than that, Ron, favorite scenes and our favorite character.
Fuck that spider. All I gotta say. And yeah, definitely it was like a tarantula. Um, but yeah, it's like you said, it's so hard. There's so many scenes. I also love when no man can kill me. I'm no man. And she takes off the thing and stabs him. Um, I, I love when Pippin grabs the black ball and it grabs him and then it's on fire and it's got a hold of him and that scene is just fucking awesome. Absolutely love the final scene when the ring gets destroyed and again the Sauron's falling and the earth is being opening up. The orcs are running and dying and being sucked into the ground. It's just so awesome, so awesome. The song, I gotta admit, I gotta put that as a favorite scene because the song was just so powerful. Um, yeah, it just lots of great scenes, and Gimli again, lots of great scenes with Legolas.
That
And his
still only
humor,
counts as one.
his humor is so great. His humor is so great in all three movies. I think it just shines even better in this one. So,
Small chance
Gandalf
of
and
success.
Gimli are my two favorite characters in this one. Again, not to say anything bad about any of the other characters. I love them all. But yeah, for me, I love comedy, and Gimli just delivers it every time. And I know we couldn't deliver it without Legolas, and I love Legolas, but Gimli is the one that gets the lines. Gimli is the one that gets them. Like when he's going to go into the Aragorn goes into the caves. What's the undead and then Legolas goes in and Gimli's like, the elf went in and did something when a dwarf won't go in and an elf will. I'll never hear the end of this. And goes in. Everything he does and says always elf and dwarf and elf and dwarf and till the end when says how you you want to die with a dwarf. He says how about with a friend and you know so they finally like drop the whole dwarf elf thing at the very end.
Well, yeah, they said Gimli said, "I never thought I'd be fighting side by side with an elf. What
Yeah,
about side by side with a
with a
friend?
friend. Yeah,
I could do that."
it's fine. Finally, I mean, you knew they were friends, like best friends. Just it was always that little rivalry of an elf and a dwarf thing, which I thought was great. Um, yeah, so it's just so many scenes, great scenes. I mean, the scene when with Gollum, jumping on Frodo at the end. I mean, if it wasn't for Frodo of him doing that, who knows what would have happened? Because Frodo succumbed to the ring. I mean, would he have come back from it? Oh, who knows? Who knows what would have happened if Gollum hadn't done that? So it's a good thing that Gollum had those 9 lives. uh, so yeah, I think I probably missed a scene. Yeah, I really did enjoy Saruman flying to his death and getting skewered. That was pretty badass. Um, what a way to go! Uh, like the priest in Omen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a
Certainty of
few other
death,
movies like
small
that.
chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Right, that's another great line. Another great line. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. Gandalf's always a favorite. He's a wizard. I fucking love wizards, and he's an awesome wizard. So I always have to mention. I always have to mention him. He's awesome. Fucking love wizards. So, like I said, not to put not that anyone else is any less. It's just to me, Gandalf always stands out, and Gimli just with the comedy he stood out. And I definitely agree with about Sam. Sam definitely was the nagging wife behind Frodo. He pushed him
Oh,
going.
also now you are pairing them up too.
Well, okay, I'm not paranoid. It's a joke saying that he's nagging wife because he's always there. Like kind of like you gotta go, keep going, kind of like a nagging wife. So
Uh,
okay. But
yeah,
anyways, yeah. So
well,
that's what I think about it.
I said my favorite scenes, but I didn't say my favorite characters. But yeah, as you say, Sam would definitely be one. I loved his conflicts with Gollum or Smeagol or whatever you want to call him. Uh, then I like Theowen a lot, although I liked her in the previous movie too, but here even more. Um, well, of course, I still like Terragorn, just like in the first two movies. Ooh, well,
Is that it?
okay, maybe that would be it.
Okay. Heading over to you, Tammy. Favorite characters and our favorite scenes.
No, glad you forgot about me.
Nope.
Um, well, my favorite characters are Aragorn and Sam. I think the relationship between the two of them is just is awesome. I mean, they you can see just how much they care about each other and would be there to help each other through anything, and it's especially nowadays, it's hard to have somebody in your life, whether they just are a friend or a significant other or whatever, that you have that strong of a bond with. So it is awesome to see that bond between the two of them, that they will go basically to the ends of the earth for each other. Um, favorite scenes. Um, I do like the one that you mentioned, David, about when he comes down off the elephant, when he gets on the elephant just so easily and takes care of him, and he goes,
Actually, it's
Yeah, that
called.
is awesome.
They call it an elephant.
Because he can't
okay,
pronounce it.
but that looks so
He's
cool.
like
And
Dave.
just slides down it like, okay, I'm done, just so effortlessly. Um, I love this. I love all the scenes with the dead soldiers or whatever they were. I mean, because the first time you see them when they come off that ship, when you know, what army? This army. Woof. It's just like,
Yeah, I
um,
forgot to mention that scene. I love that scene too.
and I like which you guys have said that this was an added scene when they took over the ships to
Yep.
begin with.
Yep.
That was just great too, because the same thing. And he goes, "Yeah, you and what army is gonna take this ship? Yeah, this one." It's like
Well, and
you ask and you shall receive.
Legolas shoots an arrow, and the dwarf like moves it for him and shoots one of the guys. And I was like, "Well, yeah, you should have listened."
Ask and you
That was
shall
your warning shot.
like I said, ask and you shall receive. What army? There you go. Um, and of course, I love the at the towards the end, the eagles, when the eagles come and they take out the what are they, the white
Wyverns.
wyverns, and then they end up showing up to go pick up Frodo and Sam. I like the eagles. I just think they're the way they did them. They're just, it's like, can I go for a ride on one, please? I'll go for a ride. Like you guys said, there's a lot of great scenes that's just those kind of stuck out. And as much as I hate to say it, that damn spider stuck out too. It's the only thing I think
Fuck
that
that sweater.
made me cringe in the whole damn movie was that spider.
It was definitely cringy.
Yes, but that would probably be it.
Okay. Unless anyone else has anything else to add, I think that pretty much ends our discussion. So, did anyone else want to say anything?
Um, let me think if I was
My
going.
precious.
Ah,
My precious.
uh, Oh yeah, that reminded me of a meme I saw online a while ago.
My own, my love, my precious.
On the meme there was a story like someone went to a hospital where a friend of his had just given birth, and she showed him the baby, and she said something like something like, "Isn't my baby beautiful?" And the guy thought, don't say he looks like Gollum. Don't say he looks like Gollum. Don't say he looks like Gollum." And then apparently he said out loud, "He is precious." And then the woman said, "You said it all out loud, you idiot."
Alrighty, well,
Fresh.
hopefully you ladies and gentlemen that are out there listening enjoyed our discussion on the Return of the King, and we'll be back next week to discuss at least two of the animated features that
Lord of
were
the Rings and Return of the King. That's what they were
correct.
called. There was only two. It actually kind of
Wait,
does what it does what Boris wants. It combines the first two into one cartoon, and then the last cartoon.
wait, isn't next week my turn?
Not
We
right now.
were originally going to do the animated features at the end of the month, but we ended up skipping because we one of us was sick, so we're continuing the discussions with the animated at least this coming month, because we did not get to discuss it this last month, and then we're gonna go back to your turn.
Well, it'll be my turn, and then we'll go back to the order it was.
But this was your
Uh,
turn, I thought.
No,
I think
my turn was
fellows.
the first movie.
Yeah.
My turn was Fellowship.
Right, so this whole thing has been your turn. So the next, when we're done with this, it's Boris's turn.
What?
Well,
Yeah. Nobody else has had a turn for this whole thing, because this whole thing.
It was
that-
everybody's turn. That's why I talked to everybody about it.
I didn't pick any of these.
Well, I talked to Dave. He was supposed to tell you.
Yeah, this was everybody's turn technically. We talked about it. It just wasn't I guess, entire.
yeah, from what I understood, you two agreed on using your turns to participate in Crow's punishment for me for not watching Lord of the Rings before.
It wasn't really a punishment, though, was it? It was pretty awesome.
Well, by the end of it,
Well,
yeah, there.
the extended version was the punishment.
Okay, how about
Yeah.
this? The turns start over after after
That's what
this,
I assumed would be the case.
which who technically starts it first?
Me, because I started it. That's why I figured next week is going to be the two animated movies, and then the week after, which I already said what I want to watch, is going to be my pick. And then Boris's, and then whatever.
If everyone's okay with that, then I guess we can do it that way.
Well, okay,
Have a
I
choice.
guess. I guess.
I guess we can put it down to a vote if we really wanted to.
Of course, there's four of us.
Well, okay, I was going to suggest Stage Fright for next week, but okay, if you want to complete Lord of the Rings with the animated movie, okay, be it.
That was the plan.
Well, then Boris, then Kroll gets to pick again. Then it's you, and then it's me. So you
So
don't get to pick for two more weeks. That's the way they're setting it up.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
that's the way that it's being evidently set up. So
Wait, what?
Evidently.
What did you just say?
uh, first it's you, then it's Boris, then it's me, then it's her.
No, I'm always after Boris.
Or you're after Boris, so I'm last.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. So if anyone everyone is okay with that, then that is the way that we shall go. So we'll be back next week with the animated features, and we'll see you then. So everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good
My
night.
precious.